I want to ask you all a question in relation to, it does relate to Man United, a little bit on Chelsea and a little bit on Tottenham. Where's the best place for Harry Kane to go next year? Stay at Spurs, join Man United, or join Tottenham?
Bayern Munich.
Okay, he's not going
Newcastle
abroad.
United.
Wait. Why isn't Bayern an option? Why isn't that an option?
Because he's not going abroad. It's very...
Okay, can I just make an argument? Okay, let me just say my piece and then you guys can talk about where you look. But here's my thing. Don't be a start merchant. Harry Kane, I know you're listening because I know you watch this freaking show. Listen to Halfway. The reason why you are not in the same category as Lewandowski, Benzema, or Jones from Uruguay is because you have no trophies. No one cares about the amount of goals you scored in England. The only people that care about that are Prince Charles and Queen Beatrix. Those are people that only care about it. If you want to actually be respected internationally, you need to say what's up with trophies. Now, don't stay in this bubble. Oh my gosh, let me break Sherry's record. Who cares? Go to Bayern Munich, play under pressure, and give me back a few UCLs. United are not sniffing a UCL the next few years. Chelsea, we all know, is a freaking mess. Tottenham are an embarrassment. Go to Bayern Munich, go and play in some UCL semis and finals, and show to me why I shouldn't call you a tree trunk, but an actual world-class player. So get out of your bubble, go to Bayern Munich, and prove to me. But no, all of you guys will say, oh, they go to United and Chelsea. Therefore, so you guys, you have it. All I'm saying is that I'm just talking real. Kane, you want me to respect you? Go to Bayern and give me 3 UCLs. There we go.
You're right, but
3
he's not
UCLs.
He's not going to go.
30, you know.
I know, because he's a coward and he's afraid.
No, but that's also why I think if you're United and Chelsea, me personally, I'd be a bit. There's no doubt in that Harry Kane he's a world-class player, but I doubt his mentality. You know, I really do.
Yeah,
the amount of times he's had an opportunity to potentially go. Who signs a 6-year contract to Tottenham? 6 years to Tottenham.
But you can argue that though, because their mentality could come from a place of, you know what, he wants to be the guy that brings.
Jerry, stop it. Jared, don't. Don't. No, Jared, don't. No, Jared, there's no arguments here. No, Jared, don't do this. Don't do this. Please don't.
But there is, because you can't have the level of consistency that he's got, and then question mentality, because there's something to go and say about getting consistent.
Well, he's been in finals. He's not turned up.
No, that's a lie. Him staying at Tottenham is proof to me that you're a loser. And you don't want to test yourself.
Of course. If he ends up not doing it, then obviously the proof's in the pudding. But what I'm saying, there is testament to someone wanting to stay there and being the first to go and do it. Tottenham don't win. Because if he wins a trophy, let's say a miracle happens and they win the FA Cup and Carabao Cup, or miraculously they win the league and go on a run like Arsenal did this season, right? Next season. If he does that, then we're talking about like he's on a different level.
It's never happening. We know it's never happening.
No, it's not happening. That's why I agree with him going to Bayern. But I'm saying that
you said the Carabao Cup.
Pardon? I then said the league. I said if he does something miraculously, I'm saying at Tottenham.
But you said the Carabao Cup.
Yes, I said both. If he does that or miraculously goes and gets the league, because we know it's not going to happen next season.
He can't be happy with the Carabao Cup, bro. He can't think, I've completed football with the Carabao Cup.
No. He won't think he's completed football. But if you look at how long it's taken Tottenham to go and win, you could argue that challenge, because Tottenham don't win. They're not a club that win all the time. Go and get that challenge is arguably more difficult than going and doing going to Bayern, as example, winning the league and not winning the Champions League.
I kind of understand what you're saying, Jerry, in regards to if he does it there. No, I don't know. I kind of get what you're saying, but then on the flip side to that, because there is 2 sides to that coin, is if he fails at Spurs, there's no blame. There's kind of no blame on him because he's not expected to do it. Because it's Spurs. That's why I get
he didn't.
I get all this guy, but so where do we think is the best place for him? So for him, let's say he leaves Tottenham, which a lot of people are suggesting now he might. There is a media report today saying he may stay on. But let's say he decides to leave in the summer because he's got the right mentality. So let's just paint that picture. Where is the most likely place? Because we know he wants to stay in England and break the record. Where's the most likely place for him to win trophies? Who could actually sign him? And it's basically Chelsea or Man United.
No, Terry. It's United because no. Let's argue for both. Chelsea, FFP tax, these clowns called who claim their owners have already spent 600 mil of blood money. I don't know where that money is from. Maybe it's London money or blood money. So there's this whole FFP. So I don't know how much more they can even spend. Levy is going to ask for a lot of money. Now, Levy, you're not in a strong position because he's coming into his last year. And Levy is a businessman, so he definitely wants a lot of money. So Levy, you're not in a strong bargaining position. But if it's a bidding war between United and Chelsea, United can put down 110, 120. Chelsea, based on how much you've already spent, can you put in 100, 110, 120? Beyond that, if you're Kane, look at the complete madness that is happening at Chelsea. United looks to be far more in order and have a better direction and cohesion than Chelsea that looks a complete mess. And even with Pochettino, there's still no hope. Now, people say, oh my gosh, he wants to reunite with Pochettino. Give me a break. If I was advising Kane, I'm being fully objective. United seems a lot more structured and cohesive, a club for you to go at and win trophies as opposed to Chelsea, where Lord only knows what's going to happen next season with the squad they're in. So United, if I was advising Kane, United makes much more sense.
Do you know what? Like, I get where you're coming from. We speak about, look, I'm biased in this because I want him at Man United. I don't care if it's £100 million and 300 grand a week. I think he's got 4 or 5 years left at the highest level. I believe he can play in multiple positions as the 9. He can play as that support striker. He can create. He can score. You know, is he going to score as many goals for Man United as we've seen Haaland scoring at City? No. But I don't think you necessarily need to. We've got Rashford in our team that scores as an example. There are other players that will contribute goals. But I was thinking about this last year. For me, Haaland is, in terms of popularity, if Haaland keeps doing what he's doing in the Premier League with the eyeballs on it globally, his status in football will grow. He'll catch Mbappe and maybe even surpass him. And Mbappe's got a head start on him because the man's won World Cups, Champions League stuff. If Haaland scores the goals to land the treble this year, his stardom goes to another level. Harry Kane going kind of toe-to-toe with Haaland in the league for Man United, I mean this with all due respect to Tottenham, it's far greater than scoring this many goals for Tottenham because more people will give a shit. So I think there's an element of like fame and legacy that comes with it. And I do believe he can win Man United major trophies. I honestly believe with the direction we're going in, and this is all dependent on us getting new owners, so we'll just put that in there slightly. If he joins Man United, we compete for the Premier League next year, and we have a chance of winning the Champions League. I truly believe that. And if we don't do it next year, the year after. And I think Harry Kane has got to join Man United. I think for me, for himself, because I believe a player of his ability should be winning those major trophies. And we need someone that can compete with Haaland.
So do you not think that might be the issue here? And I agree with you, yeah. I do think if you think about it, probably the ones that are going to have the most chance, because Arsenal ain't going to be in for him, is probably going to be Man United, yeah. But do you think that Kane right now, because I think Colleen touched on it earlier, I think Kane might look at that move and look at the fact that Man United fans do think if we get Kane, we could do something, right? Do you think Kane, and this is the thing, if he doesn't take it, for me, he doesn't take that opportunity because he doubts himself. And he knows that if he goes Man United...
100%. If he doesn't do it, then my opinion on him isn't right.
Or doesn't take it.
So my view is, if he says, no, I'm going to stay, then what I believe in him, for me, becomes not true because he hasn't taken that risk. It's a risk for him to leave, because if he comes and he doesn't deliver, if he comes and he flops, he goes even further down the pecking order in terms of legacy. Yeah. But this is why when people say to me, you can't judge Gerrard against Scholes and KDB on trophies because he was at a worse team. Gerrard could have fucking left.
He could have joined us.
Gerrard didn't need to stay.
Did he not?
Twice, yeah, it was twice. It was twice.
He did, to be fair. He wasn't allowed. The Matthew wouldn't let him.
It's true.
Hey, look, man,
That's security, man.
Lifetime.
That's security, man.
This is it. But it is fundamentally a player decision. If a player decides to drink a lot in his years, or do a bit of laughing gas, go to parties, not train properly, eat incorrectly, and their career is shortened by it, or they don't achieve what their ability suggests, we all say bad decision making. If you choose to stay at the wrong football club, what's the fucking difference? There's none. So for me, Harry Kane has got an opportunity now. It's no guarantees coming to Man United, I'm just giving people my belief. And I see a few people say you're waffling. Remember, the response you're waffling means shit. I don't know how to counter what's being said. So you just insult instead. That's all that means. And for me, we need someone like Harry Kane to compete with Haaland's numbers and Haaland's ability. And Victor Osimhen is another example of a player that may be able to do that. I just personally think Harry Kane is better than him overall as a football player right now. And I know a lot of people say, yeah, but what happens in 3 or 4 years' time? When Man United will go and buy someone else. Like, it's not. I don't understand this concern. If we've got the Glazers, I actually get buying a younger player that you can get 8, 9, 10 years out of. Fergie didn't care about that. If Fergie needed a 30-year-old to plug a hole for 2 or 3 years to help us win league titles, he did it. He's also the most famous manager in European football history for developing kids and winning titles with them. Now, he did it a decade or so before the great youth academy players came through at Barcelona. Now, he's one of the greatest for it. But he also, as well as being famous...
I see what you're trying to do here, Terry. I see what you're trying to do.
I'm just like,
you're building these comparisons between Pep and Fergie very well.
He didn't influence anything in football, rotation, nothing. But the point is that he would still go, right, we need a goal scorer. Let's go and get a nigh on 30-year-old Van Persie from Arsenal to do it. Let's go and get Laurent Blanc to fill a hole in the team. Let's go and get a 30-plus-year-old Van der Sar. Man United fans have been obsessed with got to buy young. The only reason you're saying that is because the Glazers are the Glazers waste money, and then we always run out in all of our projects. We are not going to have the Glazers, in my opinion, in the summer. And even if they stay, we'll be debt-free because they're going to take money from someone and clear that debt off. And that means there's money to buy. And if there's money to buy, people have got to stop worrying about what happens in 5 years' time.
Nah, people do need to stop worrying.
No, you know what? I feel like FIFA is just frying people's brains. Everyone has to be 21 with 90 plus potential. Like, you could get someone who's 27 in his prime now, and then if he falls out of his prime or it doesn't go as planned,
I think that's what Arsenal are missing.
Wait, right. Isn't that what Chelsea's doing? Isn't that what your owner is doing?
That's literally what we're doing. Like, I want more experience on our team, but generally, like, everyone's just like, he's 26. Oh, no, we can't get him because he's too old. Or he's 20 because he's too old. Like, everyone has to be 21 with 5-star potential. Like, if you want to win now, they need to buy the players who you're going to be able to win now.
I'm not sure if that's how. The thing is with Harry Kane, though, we've mentioned it already. Is Manchester United the best fit for him? Yes, outside of Bayern Munich. I do agree. We'd have hope on that. But with him, like, his mentality, to me, I do question it in terms of why have you not already made this move already? Why have you not pushed for this move? Or you was literally walking around a golf course with Gary Neville talking about going to Manchester. I can't talk
about it on camera. I can't talk about it on camera, but I'll tell you off camera why his move to City fell through.
Tell me off camera.
I had lunch with the guys at Snack with someone who is literally a lawyer at Tottenham and explained it all.
Oh, yeah.
I always think things out online, but I'll tell you offline.
Tell me after.
It isn't for a lack of Harry Kane trying. What I will say, because this is public, you know, when he got in trouble for not returning to training, he wasn't really in trouble. On the final training sessions of the season, he went and said goodbye to everybody. He was never expected to come back. He was promised by Tottenham that he would let go. He said goodbye to everybody at the football club. Yeah. So he really did push. But I'll tell you off. But sorry, mate, go on. Sorry.
Tell me off now is cool. But even outside of that, I look at it in games for Spurs, and it's not about winning the big games for Spurs. It's standing up and being counted. You know what I'm saying? It's putting in a performance. We watched Mbappe lose a World Cup final and his stock went up. I've not seen that from Kane in finals, semi-finals, quarterfinals. I've heard Spurs fans be super critical of him in big games. So why is it going to come to Manchester United and all of a sudden it's going to change it around? I have my doubts. I'm glad you mentioned Van Persie. People mentioned, we signed him, we win the league like he's Van Persie. As good as Kane is, I think Kane is world class. He is not Van Persie's level. Like, I don't know if everybody's not watched the two.
I disagree.
He's not Van Persie.
Harry Kane is not on Robin Van Persie's level. Van Persie's issue was that he was injured. I don't think that Kane has the impact of a Van Persie. I think Kane, as much as he's world class, this ain't gonna make sense what I'm about to say. He's overrated. People talk about him like he's a Van Persie, like he's a Benzema. He's not these strikers. Top quality strikers.
Where do we draw the line then? Just as a question, just playing devil's advocate, where do you draw the line and looking at players and thinking, like, first of all, where do you respect a player trying to go and do the impossible? So staying, because obviously you could obviously, of course, you can look at it and be like, look, you're questioning his mentality. But if you look at, for example, the NBA and you look at certain players that try to go and do the impossible and then eventually go and do it, how well do
Giannis won a chip.
Yeah, that's
exactly.
what Kane's trying to do.
Exactly. How well do we respect that? And then when is the cutoff point? Because now, if he jumps, obviously Man United's a bit different. But let's say he went to City and Haaland wasn't at City. For me, that's the easy, like, all right, I'm just going to stat pad and get my Premier League because. But
no. But
Jerry, where do you draw the line? Because United are still in a process, as Terry was talking about, where they're still trying to go and get to that level. So he's going to be a massive contributor. If he's going to a Bayern Munich, as you're talking about, Champions League's a bit different. But him winning the league twice or three times over, that's come on. Like, how can I rate that?
The reason why I can rate that because there's no safety net. At Spurs, there's a safety net. Every time they fail, he can fall into the safety net of.
But within himself is their safety net, because look what we're talking about right now. Us going and critiquing his mentality, critiquing whether he's on that level. There's no safety net there. There's a safety net within at Spurs, yes, within there.
That's the point I'm making. Like if he makes a move, we know how this ends all the debates and all the conversations. If he makes a move,
and you know what? That's why
nobody who's trying to win. Sorry to cut you off, Terry. Anyone who's trying to win major trophies and be that guy and be of a certain level, you move. We've watched players leave Spurs and become great. We've watched Modric leave. We've watched Bale leave. Why are you at Spurs if you're trying to be great? That's no disrespect to Tottenham Hotspur. No one stays there and becomes a world great. It don't happen in the modern day era. You have to leave. It's a stepping stone.
So
he's decided to stay.